Okay, we're recording. So hi everyone, my name is Mikey Lynam and I'm the Children and Young Persons Worker at Lambeth Information Advice and Support Service. This is the first in a series of videos in which Lambeth IASS talks to post-16 settings based in Lambeth and beyond. And the hope of this kind of series is that students with special educational needs who are considering post-16 transitions will be able to kind of make as sort of good informed decisions as they can. So I've delivered a transitions presentation the other week, and in that spoke about how students with special educational needs and disabilities often have additional considerations to make on top of kind of considerations that all students might take when they transition into a post-16 setting. So there are all of the usual considerations of aspirations, favourite subjects, career path, entry requirements, distance of travel, but then additional considerations like the support that students might receive in a setting or potential challenges travelling to and from the setting relating to special educational needs. So yeah, hopefully this series will just make some of those choices a little bit easier. So today I'm joined by Shannon Blackwood from Share Community, which is a post-16 provider based in Lambeth, and Shannon's here to talk about Share Community's offer for students and what kind of students can generally expect from Share Community once they're there. So Shannon has a short presentation that she's going to deliver. We're going to kind of look at the Share Community website. And then I'll ask some follow-up conversations and maybe there'll be a bit of a chat that comes out of that, but it won't last longer than sort of 10-15 minutes, I don't think. So yeah, I will hand right over to Shannon to deliver the presentation, and yeah, we'll go from there. So yeah, Shannon, over to you.
Thank you. So as Mikey said, I'm Shannon and I'm the Wellbeing Team Leader at Share Community. So Share Community is somewhat of a hybrid between a training centre and a day centre. So we are open during the day, and that's from 10 till 4, but we also provide training courses and accredited courses. So we also provide wellbeing support, and that's part of the team that I'm in, and it's aimed at adults with learning disabilities, autism, or mental health issues as well. And we work across 3 different sites. So we have our main building, which is in Clapham Junction, and that's where the predominant majority of our classroom-based sessions are run from. We also occupy the ground floor of the We Are 336 building on Brixton Road, and that's where the majority of our Lambeth students go to, and they do some of our classroom-based and community-based projects from there. And then we also have our third site, which is our horticulture garden site, and that's based in Springfield Hospital in Tooting. So that's where most of our horticulture and outdoor projects are run from. So we offer a range of accredited and non-accredited courses. So some of our accredited courses are courses such as maths and English. We've got horticulture, you can get accreditations in, catering, and digital skills. And then we also have our non-accredited courses, which are things like steps into employment, independent living skills, My Community and Me, and these courses are more portfolio based. So at the end of the course, you'd leave with a portfolio and a list of I can statements that you're able to do by the end of those courses. So instead of leaving with an accreditation, you still leave with a body of work, and it still can be evidenced during interviews or placements afterwards. And then we've also got a few more therapeutic sessions. So we have our horticulture therapy. So at the garden, we have accredited horticulture, and we also have horticulture therapy, where students can just go and enjoy the sensory environment of being at a garden, maybe water the plants, and they maybe wouldn't learn all of the skilled techniques. We also have art, which can be more of a therapeutic, or it can also be some students excel in art and really enjoy it, but others maybe just like the freedom and to be able to create. And that's the same for our music sessions. So those are more of our therapeutic sessions, and they're less structured, and we try to embrace creativity and get students to really get the most out of it. So from those courses, we have 2 social enterprises that we run at Share Community, and one is based from our horticulture project, and one is based from our catering project. So both of those projects have a group of students that get paid to attend work contracts from external companies or businesses or individuals. So our catering social enterprise, maybe they provide buffets and sit-down meals that people can contract out, and our catering do the same with gardening projects. So that's most of the stuff that happens during our shared day and during our sessions. But we also believe that social inclusion is really important. So we have a Garda project, which is known as Go Anywhere, Do Anything. And that's based where students can sign up to a trip that they are interested in. So we have a schedule that comes out with about 15 trips, and those happen outside of share hours. So they can be evenings or they can be on the weekend. And students will then get the schedule, they'd sign up to what they like, and then they'd go along to the trips with our volunteer social buddies. So with that, there are trips like clubbing, we've got football pitches, we've got karaoke and food. They go to museums. Recently, they've been to the ballet. So it really does get our students out into the community and accessing where they may not be able to access. And then another project that we have for social inclusion is our Befriending Project. So our Befriending Project started during lockdown because quite a few of our students weren't able to access the community. They were told to stay in. It became very lonely, quite depressing. So we started a Befriending Project. And that's when one volunteer meets up with a student and they're matched based on their likes. So it could be knitting, it could be coffee, food, whatever their mutual likes are. And they'd meet up with a student once a week, every week on that time. And they'd create like a continual relationship that they build. And that relationship continues right until either the student or the volunteer decides it's enough. And that's been such a success that we've actually kept that going and we're growing that. So that's not something that will just be here during COVID, that's something that will keep on going. So now I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so that should hopefully show you the share homepage. So on this homepage, you can see loads of different things about what we do. So if you, the internet. So it's got about training and courses, a bit about the things I just spoke about. We have parent and carer support. We've got stories. We also have a bit about the, if the internet will work, the gardening social enterprise. So this is the one, it's also open for people to buy plants. And then we've also got more about the share catering, if it will go, share catering social enterprise. And that all gives you that there. So if I take us back to the home page. So to join share, you can just click on apply or inquire. And that will take you through. So we've got people that are being referred by someone else can fill in a referrer online inquiry form, and people that are filling out a form for themselves can fill out a self-referral form, or you could call or email either of those and we could support you through that form. So the form just asks for basic information like what is your disability, or what is the reason for you wanted to come to share. So after you complete that form, our client engagement officer would get in contact with you and they'd arrange a show around and a few taster days just so you can see if you'd then be invited for however many days. And then just the last bit about cost. So the cost for share depends on the amount of days you attend. So it's a fixed rate, and then the more days you attend, it goes down slightly. So students can choose to come to share for a minimum of 1 day, obviously, and a maximum of 5 days. So that's completely up to you, and that can be discussed during your inquiry process. And yeah, so I'll just click on very quickly the referral online form. So that's if you're being referred by a parent, a carer, or a social worker. And it's just the name, the last name, the address, the phone number, and then it does it the same for the person. So you'd fill in, if you're applying for someone else, you'd fill in theirs and yours, and it asks, are you going to pay by yourself? So another bit about cost, you can attend share using your personal budget, or you can use the budget given to you by your social worker, or if you're fortunate enough to be able to fund it yourself, then you could self-fund and join Share. And the process for joining Share could be as quick as 2 weeks, and it could be as long as however long it takes to get funding. Thank you.
Is that better? Can you hear me now? Yeah, sorry, I had to put in headphones because someone came into the room partway through, but yeah, I'm good now. Yeah, thanks so much for that. That was a really great overview, and it's good to hear about all of the kind of different bits and strands that Share offers. Now, you spoke just a minute ago about how students can use their personal budget or kind of social care money to fund their place. You do also accept students with education, health and care plans, right? Students can, with an EHCP, can ask for Share to be
frozen.
How about now? Am I back?
Hello?
Hello?
I think you asked, do we accept students with EHCPs?
Yeah, I did. Have you got me back, by the way? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Cool. Yes, we do accept students from that. Because we are considered a day centre, sometimes that's harder for social workers to get that through, but we accept them as long as it's fine with the social workers.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so if just this is for my understanding as well. So do young people have to be involved with social care in order to get a place? Or if there was, a young person can have an education, health and care plan, but not have a social worker say, and they would still be able to, get their place funded. Cool. And so, yeah, I guess the group of students, the people kind of watching this video, I guess some will kind of have involvement with social care, but there'll be a lot of students with kind of SEN and EHCPs. I think that will be the kind of main group that watches this. Now, you spoke about those kind of various strands and projects offered by.
You frozen again.
How about now? Hello.
Yep. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, don't worry. Maybe I'll leave it as it is, or like do a little bit of editing afterwards. But it's just these are the sort of things we have to deal with these days, aren't they? But yeah, no, I was just saying that for students with EHCPs, can they access all of those different strands offered by Share Community?
As long as you're a student at Share, you can access all of the things that Share has to offer.
Right. So, like, kind of, is it a case of kind of inquiring, getting your foot through the door, and then you can kind of access the different?
So after you've been a student with us for 6 weeks, you can then access our Befriending and Garden projects that I mentioned, but everything else you're able to access straight off the bat.
Okay, cool. And you spoke a little bit about accredited qualifications when at the start. Can you reel off some of the different accredited qualifications that you offer?
So the majority of our accreditations come through city and guilds, and so we've got a digital skills for life and work that we have our students do, and those are normally entry levels. We have level 1 and level 2 catering, health and safety, and food knowledge qualifications that we have, and we also have our basic skills, level 1 and level 2 English and math skills for life.
Perfect, cool, that sounds great. And so yeah, I guess with students with EHCPs, they would sort of, in applying, they would kind of identify the accredited course that they want to do, or the kind of qualification, and then once you've accessed, you can then kind of go on and do some of those other projects. Cool, that's really good to know. And what do you have are you able to kind of give a sense of the sort of level of needs that you're able to cater for at Share Community? Oh, Shannon, I've lost you again.
Oh, hello?
Can you hear me? Have you got me?
I can hear you. I did.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think I lost you for a minute then. But no, I just asked. Can you give a sense of the sort of level of need that you can manage at Share Community? Kind of what? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'll hand over to you to answer that.
So at Share Community, we work with a range of different students and their abilities. Sorry, we work with a range of different students and their abilities. Those can range from people who are quite independent. They may travel independently. completely independent, and then that can go right up to students who need to come with a one-to-one. So we support students with a few students with autism, learning disabilities, students with mental health, and then we also have students who are non-verbal, we have students who are verbal. Some of our students use Makaton, and some of our students use things like PECs or iPad digital aids.
Okay.
So we have quite a range.
Right. Okay. So yeah, it sounds as though kind of most young people are going to be able to you know kind of inquire and sort of find out
yes.
what's
yeah.
and
it's very rare that we have to turn someone down. Okay. And if we do, we normally signpost them to somewhere that we think might be better for them. We tend to not just turn someone down.
Great, that's really good to know. Now I know from kind of working with young people in the past that have got involved with Share Community that you offer you like some colleges and courses kind of offer September to June courses, but it's a little more flexible at Share, right? You can kind of come in mid-year.
So at Share, it's actually, we don't close, we're not term time, and you can do it for as long or as little as you need. So some of our students may come and they may be more higher and more independent and may just come for our steps into employment work, and they could maybe be on that for 6 months, and then there are others who maybe need more support and might do it for 2 years. So it's really individualized, and depending on what the student needs, we tend to go with that.
Yeah, and what is you said sort of 2 years, is that kind of typically the maximum amount of time that you would work with a young person, or could it be?
So it's usually the maximum amount of time we'd work on one project. Okay. So if they just came for steps, then it would be the max for one project. But we do also have students who have been here for 10, 20 years who are trying various different projects. So yeah.
Cool, that's good to know.
But there's no cut-off point, like if you've been here for 3 years, you've got to go. There's nothing like that.
Okay, cool, that's good to know. I mean, I guess one thing that I will come in with, just for students who are watching, who have education, health and care plans, students aren't eligible for EHCPs after they once they become 26. So you can only have
and then they could then resort their thing out and get funding again.
Yeah, so if the EHCP came to an end, they would then have to be sort of either funded through social care or fund, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and can you give a sense of just some of the things that young people at Share Community might go on to do after they have sort of been with you?
So we've got quite a few students who have gone on to volunteer, and predominantly they go on to volunteer in either catering or horticulture realms, just because that's where we've got our social enterprise, that's where their skills are built up the most. But we do have quite a few students who go on to volunteer. We've got other students who go on to actually volunteer in centres like ours, and become like buddies and things like that. So they tend to move on, and some of them just move on and get employment.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. And do you provide any support with kind of identifying what to do next? Or yeah.
So as part of our employment section, we have our you frozen, but I'm going to keep going.
I've got you.
So our Steps into Employment course is basically students understanding the background to getting a job, what a job is, how you get one, CVs and things like that. And then we've also got a job coach who would work one-to-one with those students. So students that have kind of almost graduated or finished with Steps into Employment would go on to one-to-one job coaching. And that's where they'd receive one-to-one support, fleshing out their CV, help to identify job opportunities, and then even sometimes support getting their foot in the door. And the first couple of times we'd support them on the job.
Right, cool. So yeah, and that's obviously something that young people can do alongside one of their
that's open to everybody.
Yeah, cool.
That's also open to people that aren't on the Steps into Employment course.
Right.
So there might be someone that just comes for catering and they identify that they'd like a job, that job coach would work with them as well. It's not just for them.
Cool, that sounds great. I think, Shannon, there's only one more question from me. You spoke a little bit about this through when you kind of showed us through the website. But are there any kind of open days coming up, or do young people just generally inquire and then they can come and visit on a sort of?
They generally inquire. We don't have open days just because of where we've just come from and the pandemic and stuff like that. But any inquiries are taken seriously, and if then wanted, they can have a show around and tasting. And
perfect. Cool. That sounds great. Well, yeah, I mean, I think to be honest, Shannon, that is sort of it. That's all of the follow-up questions that I've got. So thanks so much. I think that's gives me a kind of good sort of sense of what you offer. I hope that the tech, I'm probably not going to go out and edit tech issues. Hopefully it's not too distracting. But yeah, thanks so much, Shannon.
Thank you.
I will stop recording there.